Hi there. So today we're going to talk about adult lifestyle communities. And in particular, I want to talk to you about an adult lifestyle community that is actually freehold. Now, that may sound a little bit strange because I think most of us, when we hear the term adult lifestyle community, we think of a place like Park Bridge communities where it's light, land leases and there's a bunch of small homes that are built. And the other side of it is maybe if you're in Brampton here, you think of some place like Rosedale Village, which is actually condominium. And we don't necessarily equate a standard detached home as being in an adult lifestyle community. So let's define an adult lifestyle community. An adult lifestyle community is simply a place where you can live an active lifestyle with neighbors that are in a similar place in their life that you are, and they're really not that much different than any other residential community, but they do have amenities and things that seem to fit more into an older adult or retiree's lifestyle. You do not have to be retired in order to live in one of these communities. Um, you can hang on to your job that you've currently got. You might want to pick up something on a part-time basis or do some consulting. There's no reason that says that you cannot do any of these things. Um, there's simply a place where you can go and live with other people that have similar thoughts and similar ideas that you have and needs and wants. Um, but I do want to make it very, very clear that and we hear this sometimes, there is no such thing as an exclusive only adult community. There are laws that restrict the selling of properties and not allowing anyone the opportunity to purchase in that particular area. So as much as they're referred to as an adult lifestyle community, it doesn't mean you may not have a younger family move in. However, typically the building and the area is not conducive to young families. For the most part, they're two-bedroom homes. They typically wouldn't have playgrounds around for kids to play in. They might have parks, but the parks will have benches for sitting and that kind of thing for us walking as we like to do. But let's say, like sometimes I've heard, you know, people say, well, I bought in an adult lifestyle community and there's a family moved into it. How come? Well, it's the law. You can't restrict it. However, they do what they can to try and deter people from moving in who are not retired, or not necessarily retired, but of age, right? Over 55 plus is quite often the terminology. Um, so why would you be interested in an adult lifestyle community? What would attract someone to being there? I'm going to say the general one word would be community. It gives you a sense of community. There's a group of people and you all have common interests. You're, for the most part, again, it doesn't have to be, but for the most part, you're at home during the day because you're retired, and so you have interests and things can go on during the day and not so much nightlife, etc. You've worked hard raising your family over the years, and now you've got the time. You've worked towards this, and now you've got the time, and the other people in the community are exactly the same way. Lots of reasons why somebody might choose this kind of lifestyle. First of all, I'm not sure if there's a polite way of saying this or not, but I find most of these communities, there's very much everybody knows what everybody else is doing in the community. So if you happen to go away on a holiday, there's somebody kind of knows you're away and kind of watching out for your house, etc. So there's a security thing as well, which again goes back to community, right? I mean, let's face it, we all wish we lived in a community where we knew more people so that we would just simply feel more secure. There's very often there's some sort of a community center or a building or something where there's socialization, card playing, exercise. Maybe there's a pool. Maybe there's a fitness center. There could be a number of things, and there's always the opportunity to volunteer. There's groups of people. You get to know people who are, again, of similar age, so it's community again. So Maybe Mrs. Smith down the road volunteers at the hospital, so that's your in to be introduced to somebody that can help you get if volunteering is something that you'd like to do. As with anything in real estate, location, location, location. These communities are quite often close to recreation centers, quite often close to golf courses. They have shopping malls, restaurants that are close by. They have recreation centers, museums, libraries, medical offices, hospitals, parks. These things are all part and parcel when they're setting one up, that they try and take these things into consideration. How close are we? What is the attraction and what is the amenity that our buyers will look at? And let's face it, developers, they're looking at all these things as well, because they want to know what is going to attract you to buy their particular subdivision. So I'd like to talk about one of these. I said to you early on, what I want to do with one of these, with these videos is a little bit more than just spout off a bunch of theoretical stuff. I want to actually talk about some specific things so you can get an idea of what we're talking about. So your freehold, it's a street side. It's just like any other street that you have in the city or in these small towns. You go down the street and there's house after house after house. The difference being is that when we refer to them being adult lifestyle type communities, typically they're all bungalows. Typically they're all smaller bungalows, and that's because that's who's buying them. One that I want to use specifically as an example because I'm very familiar with it. I've got clients that have moved into it and they're very, very happy with it. It's called Baldwin Place. It's in Tillsonburg, Ontario. Small town of Tillsonburg. Again, we're going to talk about different locations in another video, but you know, this subdivision is about 400 homes, I'm saying, more or less. It has its own rec center for that community. And, you know, typically when somebody's saying they want to move into one of these freehold areas, it's because, well, we're not paying condo fees. I'm not paying all them darn fees. This does not have those fees. However, because of the community center, there is a small fee. There's an initiation fee when you buy into the subdivision of, I think it's $1,000. Used to be $500, but I think it's gone up to $1,000 now. And $365 per year, $1 a day, that you pay towards the upkeep of this community center. Now the community center has a swimming pool, it's an outside pool, it has card rooms, it has a place where they have, and I know that they have dinners and whatnot, potluck type of stuff. And it's just a place for people to get together. I believe they have a shuffleboard court, and as I say, it's just an excuse to meet with other people. All the people in there, for the most part, are near retirement or retired or semi-retired. If you're a young person, they're all old people. They're all over 55 for sure. Taxes are reasonable because it's a small town. The taxes are reasonable. Car insurance, wow, is way cheaper, way cheaper. So the cost of living is much less. The homes are all probably 1,200 to 1,800 square feet. They're all 2-bedroom. Very nice. They're anywhere from, I don't know, probably about 12 years old to almost, I think they're still building. They're still building in the area. I'm not sure if they're building right in that particular development or not, but Tillsonburg in itself has a wonderful recreation program. They've got a complex, really. It's a recreation complex. Their hockey arena, their baseball diamonds are all in the same area. Their Rotary Club, their Lions Club, their Lioness, their Kinsmen are all in the same area. The band shell, it's all in that same park area. Wonderful walking trails. Swimming pool area in the, I think there's a swimming pool indoor, but there's also like a splash pad for the young kids. That's a common recreation center for the municipality. As I say, all the clubs are there. It's an amazing little town, and it has obviously my attention because you know, quite frankly, it's one of the places that Liz and I are looking at retiring. So we like it a lot. The lots aren't huge, but they are big enough that you can have your own garden. You can have a patio and whatnot, so you got room to entertain as well as do your gardening if that's what you like to do. The homes in there, as I say, they're from maybe 12 years old to new, and they range in price from, I'm going to say, about 435,000 to 600,000. Might be a little bit more than that. As I say, some of them are very, very, very nice. The taxes range about $4,000 a year. You're going to find that, as I say, car insurance, house insurance, all of that is much less because it's in a lower risk area type of thing. Golf courses, there's a number of golf courses in the area. The Because it's a small area, and I do know that there's I don't know how long it is, but there is a walking trail runs through this subdivision, and I know it goes to the other side of town. For sure. Now, how far off it goes, I don't know. But with a lot of these small towns, they've got, areas that you can walk through, and you're only 5 minutes from anything anywhere in the town anyway, and you're 2 minutes and you're out of the town into a small out into farm country. So great opportunity if you don't want to pay the condo fees, if you wouldn't mind moving to a smaller community. As far as that particular community is concerned, 35 minutes puts you into London, Kitchener, and Hamilton, three of the best hospitals in the country. So it depends on Tillsonburg does have its own small hospital. Woodstock is only 15-20 minutes away, and they've got a good hospital. And then, as I say, the training hospitals are in Waterloo, in Hamilton, and in London. So you've got all kinds of opportunity there as well. That's about it. As I say, you're not going to find this kind of situation in the city because it's just cost prohibitive for the developers, or at least we wouldn't pay it anyway. They'd want so much for it, we wouldn't buy the houses anyway. There are lots of communities that have such this same kind of thing. Another client of mine went to Ingersoll. Wonderful subdivision there, a little bit more expensive than Tillsonburg. But similar idea, all bungalows, all smaller lots, but again, still lots of room for your gardens and whatnot. There are other areas. We're starting to see some being built in Mount Forest. We're starting to see some in Elora. We're starting to see some out in Eastern, if you're interested in the East, out in the area of Lakefield, there's a subdivision out there. I know there is in Coburg, or Port Hope, I believe it is. There's places out there that are the same kind of thing. Anyway, that's enough about that. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me. If you have any thoughts that you'd like to do something like this and you just want more information, don't hesitate to give me a call. You can go to our website. There's some information on there. There's some things that you might want to look for. We're going to do next week, I'm just going to talk about, okay, now we've talked about being out in an area like that. How do you select an area like that? How did we select Tillsonburg? Why did we select Tillsonburg? And I've got clients like yourself that I would thank for that. And that's the other thing too. If you're not familiar with an area, call me and we'll talk about the area. I may or may not know something about it. We've made it somewhat our business to get ourselves familiar with these areas. But the beauty of it is, because of what I do, I'm quite happy to do some investigating because I'm only learning for the next one of you that might be looking for an area. So it's not time wasted for me. It's training time. I'm still in training. That's why they call it practicing real estate. I'm still practicing. Anyway, have yourselves a great week. We'll talk to you next week.